Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, wherever you are in this world. Welcome to Be Victorious with Theodora. And today we have, I think, one of my favorite people in the world. Katherine Phelps is really absolutely incredible. You're going to love her as much as I do. And I hope you're going to be with us for the entire duration of the show because she's going to teach us incredible things. We're going to learn incredible things about her, and she's going to teach us some pretty awesome things. And so please, please, please share this with your friends and family as it's important what we're going to hear from Kat. And come be with us, come ask questions, come live and enjoy our conversation. And let me know in the comments, what would you like to know from Kat? We'll be right back. Stay with us. You're so amazing. I love you so much. Hi, Kat.
Hi.
How are you? How's your day?
It's been unbelievable. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show.
You're welcome. I've been looking forward to have you on my show for all this time that I had the show on. And I'm so honored that you took the time to be live with me and have a conversation so that my friends and family, my audience, and everybody that's watching Be Victorious can learn a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how, learn about how can you help us with the story of your life and where you are. Be victorious just like you, because in my opinion, you are a heck of a victorious lady. So I want to know everything about you. Let's start by telling us, where were you born, Kat?
I was born in Colorado Springs. I am a Colorado native, which I
Oh,
know those of us who are so proud of that.
I know. You're awesome. And so, how was Colorado Springs? Was it different?
So I was born there, but I actually grew up most of my life in Monument, which is just north of Colorado Springs. And every time I drive down there, like Monument's gotten bigger, it's definitely expanded, but um, it feels the same now as it did, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, right. It's such a beautiful area, though. It's so pretty.
Yes.
And I love Colorado. When I moved here, it was my place to be. I loved it. And so then you went to school in Monument, right? Like you did school here. How was school?
You know, school was great. I'm someone who I always loved school. I always looked forward to going. I had a great relationship with my teachers and my friends. So school for me was a pretty pleasant experience.
That's awesome. It makes me laugh because thinking about that and knowing where you are, it's like, well, it makes sense. Right?
Yes.
You love school so much that you just became a teacher. Is that true?
Yeah. So I remember, I don't know why, but I always just knew in my heart of hearts I was going to become a teacher. I would play with my stuffed animals in my bedroom. I had a little whiteboard and I would put my stuffed animals on the ground and play teacher. And I actually ended up volunteering for my second grade teacher after school for years, from about fifth grade until 10th grade, like at least once a week. Every day after school, I would go in and to her classroom and volunteer. And so I was always surrounded by it. She was just a positive example in my life. And I just knew that I wanted to be a teacher.
That's so cool. And you did that. And you were a teacher for a few years.
Yeah, I taught first grade for 5 years, and before that, I was a peer professional and I student taught in kindergarten for a total of 3 years, doing those two things while I was in college.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Now it makes sense how come Alma loves you so much. You're just so amazing with kids. You're so good with children, and you're just such a good heart. You have an amazing heart.
I do enjoy kids, and it's funny though. Like now that I have kind of taken a step away from that role, my joy for kids and my love for kids has definitely come back. I was definitely feeling the burnout while I was teaching.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking, wow, it's so powerful to know when you're a child that you're going to be this, you're going to go into, this industry, and you're going to do that. But then something happened. What happened?
Yeah. I think that I love this part of my story and my journey because I feel like a lot of people can relate to it. Knowing that I wanted to do something my entire life and doing it, like I feel super accomplished in that, and I don't regret being a teacher at all. It's what I wanted to do, and I got the experience that I needed. But along the journey, I realized that like classroom teaching was not for me. I discovered that I have a heart for kids. I love being a leader and a mentor, but I needed a different outlet. Being in the classroom was a very stressful job, and you have to put on hundreds of hats at once. I was overworked, and we all know that teachers are underpaid, and I knew that going into it, but I didn't know how overworked I was going to be, how fatigued I was going to be. I discovered about myself that I really don't like being overstimulated with sound and noise all day. That was really hard for me, but I had a really hard time letting it go because I had wrapped my entire identity in being an elementary school teacher. And I honestly think that I stayed a teacher for a lot longer than I should have. For my mental health, for my physical health, I did not enjoy it. Probably like my first year teaching, I kind of felt like, oh my gosh, I don't know, this isn't for me. And I did it for 4 more years feeling that way. um, and so I
See, this
love,
is I'm sorry to interrupt, but this
no,
is one of the reasons why I say that you're such a victorious person, pushing yourself. And I'm thinking about all the people and everybody that's listening to us, and that they're pushing themselves to do something that, eventually they love, but at the end of the day, they don't love that much.
yeah. And so for me, it was really hard because, I had my identity wrapped up in being this elementary school teacher. Like that is who I was. And so to let that go was difficult. Like it wasn't an easy decision to leave the classroom. But I also found so much growth by doing that in that. And now I get to teach others like, your job isn't your identity. You have to find self worth elsewhere, and that's been a huge growing point for me. And I always tell people, this is like one of my mottos: is give yourself permission to try something new.
Say it again, please.
Give
Say it again.
yourself permission to try something new.
Yes.
You never know how much you're gonna like it.
Oh, I love that. Let me try something new. But so hold on. You were in the classroom and you gave yourself permission to try something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody offered you something, or how did you transition from teaching into working for yourself, because that's what you do now, right? So take us into the transition. Like, I get it, you felt in your heart and you were ready and open to do something else, to another opportunity. How did that opportunity came your way?
Yeah, so that was actually a pretty slow transition. My second or third year into teaching, my brother and I were talking, and he had taken a position with this office. And he was saying like, hey, you should come check it out because once a week they do like some financial classes and just give you some tips on finances. And at that time, I had debt up to my eyeballs. There was too much month at the end of the money. As a teacher, like I was living like not even paycheck to paycheck. And so I was like, okay, yeah. And it was so funny because I remember that day I was running a million errands and I was going to be late. And so I was like, maybe I just shouldn't show up at all. And then I was like, no, I can't do that to my brother. So I showed up and, I learned just so much in that 1 hour. And they mentioned that, hey, like we're expanding right now. And, you're a teacher, you could teach others how to do this. And so I did. But I went into it with a mindset of like, I'm going to be a teacher forever. Because this was still early in my teaching career. And I was like, I'm just going to do this like part-time just for some extra income. And I was like really resistant to what they, were teaching me and training me on how to be a business owner. I was pretty resistant to that at first. And so even after that, it still took me a few years to really get going in the business and really just fall in love with it and understand that this is more of my calling.
That's amazing. And then you quit your teaching classroom.
Yeah, so
Not teaching anymore right now, right?
no, this is now I get to be a financial coach full time. And I also get to hire, train, and develop others to do the same, and really be a true business owner. Like I have, a full team of agents who work with me. And what I love about my company is that, like, you can think of it like a franchise. And so you have the opportunity to open your own branch office. And what I've learned with that is that it just allows me a life that teaching never would. It's allowed me time freedom. It's allowed me work from Wi-Fi so I can travel. I have a travel streak of about once a month going somewhere.
You're gonna talk about this because
Yeah.
I need to learn from you. I'm not
Yes.
traveling enough.
And so as I started embracing it more and, just really being open to it, all of these, opportunities came my way. To travel, and it's just been the best thing for me, letting go of teaching in the traditional sense. I still get to teach. I'm a coach, I'm a leader, I'm a mentor. I teach people how money works, and so I get to teach in multiple different ways now, without the stress of being a first grade teacher.
You're so amazing. I am like in awe at everything that you accomplished, and you did. So I want to talk to you about how did you feel when you made the decision to quit your job? Because that's a victorious point.
Yeah, I felt all of the emotions. I was a little sad, just to let that go. That was a huge part of my life. I was a little nervous. Like, I'm going from, having a paycheck once a month, which wasn't enough as a teacher, but, I could depend on that. I knew it was coming once a month, to being, a business owner. And sometimes the income can fluctuate with that. And so I was nervous. But the main thing that I was feeling, of course I was excited, but I was at peace. And that's how I knew, like, this was really an okay decision, because that was the most overwhelming sense that I felt, was like peace. I was ready to move on.
Yes. What would you say to somebody that is maybe in doubt? Maybe somebody, wants to quit. Like we all have friends that are teachers, or friends that, maybe not in particular in the education industry, but they have a job and they are not ready to let it go. What do we
Yeah.
tell them? How do we help them, make the decision?
Yeah. It's a tough decision to make, but I've learned along the way, through listening to different leaders, coaches, mentors, reading books, that the number one thing that's going to hold you back is yourself. And so you can either be your biggest cheerleader, or you can be your biggest enemy. And you have to make that decision. And by, staying stuck in that rut, staying stuck in that job that you don't really like, that's not going anywhere, you are your own worst enemy at that point. And what I've learned is that the things that scare you the most are the things that you should be running head first towards and doing. They're scary for a reason, but that means that they're going to get you out of your comfort zone. And when you get out of your comfort zone, you grow. And when you grow, things in your life just happen. That's the only way I can explain it, because you're allowing yourself new opportunities, because your boundaries have been expanded a little bit more. And so if it's scary, that's the first thing that you got to do.
Do it, right? Get it
Yep.
done. Do it anyway. Don't we say that all the time?
Yep.
Do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
I love that. I love that. So I I want to ask a little more about what you do now, because I know that you make a difference in people's life,
Hmm.
and you're changing lives, and people really, really, really need your services. So let's talk about what you do, like financial education, right? But what does that mean?
Yeah. So what I love is that I get to teach people the rules of the money game, and I get to teach people the concepts that the insurance companies and credit card companies and banks don't want you to know, right? They're holding on to those secrets so they can have all the wealth. But if you know it, you're not dependent on those companies anymore. And so really just teaching people the basics and giving them a game plan on step by step. Here's how we're going to accomplish that. Making things like investing and saving money less scary, teaching them where they can save costs from, and just, being overall aware of where your money is going is really important.
Right. Yes. And making more money too, right?
Yeah.
So many people, right? Even now, like now it's hard, and I think it's such a blessing that you're able to help people manage the little bit of money that they make and save what they don't have and the little bit that they have. So wow, Kat, you're, like I said, you're one of my favorite people in the world. You're so amazing, and what you do is so awesome. I want to go to traveling. I want to know, how do you think that you travel so much? How is it possible to travel to, like, aren't you like in Florida? You were in Texas. You're in Mexico. How do
Hmm.
you travel so much?
I think the first thing is, again, allowing yourself the opportunity to. So like if you are working, in a job where you have to constantly ask for time off, like those opportunities just aren't going to be available to you. And so that's where, in the United States, there's 4 ways that you can make money. You can be an employee where you have limited control of your time, like your boss is always telling you when to show up, and you have limited control of your money, right? They tell you how much you're going to make. You could be self-employed, and now you either have more time or you have more money. Typically you don't have both. And then we move over to business owners, and that's where the rubber really hits the road when it comes to freedom. You start to have time freedom and money freedom because you have a system that works for you whether you're there or not. And you can also be an investor. And so being a business owner has allowed me to have that time freedom and have a system that still runs. Now, the cool thing too about my particular business is that it's literally work from Wi-Fi. And so I can take my iPad with me and still be successful and still have appointments. And I would much rather have an appointment from the beach than from, a snowy, windy day in Colorado when it's been like that for months.
You're right. That's awesome. That's so incredible. Are you hiring? I want to come work with you.
Always, always, always. I think with Zoom, our expansion has just gotten even bigger because we can hire people nationwide.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, if you spend money, you need what we do on some way or another. So there's always someone to be helped. There's always someone to looking to make more income. And what I love about our business is that it was really designed to be a part-time opportunity at first. So get your licenses, get some training under your belt, still have that income coming in from your, W-2 job, and then eventually fire your boss, work yourself out of it. And so it doesn't have to be something that, is that you have to take on right away, like full on.
Right. It could be a start and then grow from there, just like you did.
Yeah, exactly. I taught for 3 years and did this on the side, and I just grew. I developed my mindset. I, was consistently making part-time income until I finally felt ready to make the leap and be a business owner full time.
What would you tell a single mom with 2 children that, wants to be a business owner and wants to travel, and maybe she doesn't know where to start? I don't know what.
Yeah.
Let's help single moms, for example.
Single moms, they're one of my favorite people to talk to, because that they need extra income, right? And they also want the availability to be with their kids more. Like taking on an extra job for a single mom means being away from your kids that much more. And so find an opportunity, no matter what it is. Find an opportunity where you can work from your phone. There's a lot out there these days, so that way you can still be with your kids. I love that, like, our office specifically, like, we are so family oriented, family friendly. Like, there's kids, in the background all the time. And I love that. Like, bring your kids in, let them hear. There is only positive things that they're going to hear from going on an appointment and hearing about how money works. Um, and so, look for those opportunities that are out there that are family oriented, where you can make really good part-time income and really make a difference in people's lives. What I love is that, we are truly, like, we could change the trajectory of a family forever by the concepts that we teach and help clients implement.
You're so amazing. I love everything about you. I want to know, what books do I need to read so that I can talk like you?
Oh man. You know what book that you really need to read? This one just absolutely blew my mind. Is The Five Levels of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. I literally just finished it, and I think that it is my most favorite book that I've ever read.
Okay,
It,
hold on. Wait. What is it?
The Five Levels of Leadership
Okay.
by John C. Maxwell.
Okay.
And if you want to grow as a leader and as a mentor and just as a person in general, he lays it out for you, and he will explain like what your actions, like you'll be able to identify very easily, like this is where I'm at in life in terms of leadership. And here's exactly how I need to move forward. And it was just very a practical book. And it gave me so many growing points. And it was also really reassuring of like where I'm at right now. I was like, okay, I'm not doing half bad. There's always room for growth, but I'm doing okay. So phenomenal book.
That's awesome. Okay. Um, that's so amazing. I want to know though, where are you going? What's Katherine gonna where so do you envision like 5 years, 1 year, 10 years? How do you like, I just I admire you so much, Kat, and I want to know everything that you do so that I can follow your steps.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I don't like I have some immediate goals where I do have a timeline. Like I want to have my own branch office, my name on the door before the end of the year. Um, but then there are other things where I have it on my vision board and I don't really have a specific timeline. I just know that it's going to happen. Um, like I think about like if I keep working, I'm going to accomplish all of these things. And it's so crazy because last year my vision board was a lot smaller and it was a lot more like the things that were on there were very like practical business things that at the time last year felt so far out of reach. But because I just kept working on them and every day and I was consistent and I put in the effort, I got to take so many things off that vision board because I accomplished them. And so this year I put some lofty goals on that vision board. Like places that I want to travel, like one of my most favorite goals that I have is I really want to take like a really bougie like 20-hour first class flight. Uh like where you
Wow.
have like the whole shower and just travel the world, and I know that if I stay consistent and I keep working, I'm going to do those things. And so, whether it's a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I just know that it's going to happen. Like I believe that for myself.
And it's gonna happen because you believe it and you manifest it, right? You make it
Exactly.
happen. We're gonna
Yeah.
make it You're gonna make it happen. I love that. How important is a vision board? When did you always have a vision board like growing up?
No, that's a great question. I actually learned about vision boards from being in the business, and we, started making one every year. And yeah, and so I have mine in my room where I wake up and I literally see it. Every time I'm laying in bed, I see it, and so it's plastered in front of my face. Um, and what I also love about that, like I'll look at the pictures and I'll imagine myself there. Like I won't just look at it like it's not something that's like meaningless to me. Like sometimes people put vision boards together and they just use a random picture of a magazine. Like I this year like very carefully curated mine where I had very specific things where I could picture myself right there. And along with that, one thing that I think is far more important than a vision board is writing down your goals every single morning, and write them down in present tense as if they've already happened, because it tricks your brain into thinking like this is where I'm headed. This is what's going to happen for me. And so the vision board is great. I love the pictures. Your brain sees in pictures, so don't have a vision board that's really wordy. Have it have pictures, but writing down the goals is, I think, even more important. And doing both, you're unstoppable.
Victorious, right?
Yes, you're victorious.
You're amazing. Oh my God, Kat. I love this so much. Speaking of goals, right? Can you share with us like one goal that you're fighting for? I mean, you told me you want to open your own office and have your own space. And what is one personal goal? That's a business goal.
Yep.
let's go to the personal goal.
Yeah.
And
So one of mine, I'll share two, because I touched base on one of them already. One of them is I travel the world first class. I write that down every day. And another one is I own my dream home. And I have that on my vision board as well. Like I know exactly what I want it to look like. I know where it's going to be located. And so that's a personal goal that I write down every single day.
wow, I'm gonna have to start doing that too.
Yeah, it's part of my morning routine.
Yes, we have to. I think it's powerful and it's important.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like so many times where you're in a job, you're just like on autopilot, right? You just
Mm-hmm.
wake up. There's no need, like almost like there's no need to write down goals because somehow you already know that maybe they're not even going to happen because it's impossible for them to happen because that's your expectation,
Yeah.
and it's just the reality that you create, and
Mm-hmm.
breaking free from that is
Yes.
really, really, really hard. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's you're so spot on with that. I think you can tend to get stuck in your comfort zone and your current reality. And something that I've learned is that it's because your comfort zone, it does provide you some value. And because you have steadiness, you have a routine, and you have that feeling of comfort. And so people get stuck there, even though there's no growth there. You're stuck in a rut, and people like their limiting beliefs hold them there, right? And so that's why it's really important to step outside of that. I always say, like, do one thing a day that's going to push you just a little bit more outside your comfort zone. So maybe it's actually saying hello to a stranger in an elevator, something as simple as that. So that way you stop getting stuck in the mundane. I learned something really interesting today, and this ties in with, there's an acronym called TBAR, and it stands for your thoughts become your become your beliefs. Your beliefs then dictate your actions, and your actions dictate your results. And that's from an amazing book called Byproduct by Ian Pruckner, another one worth reading. And so I've known that for a long time, but I actually was listening to a mentoring session from Ian Pruckner today as well. And he was talking about how your thoughts, no matter what they are, release a chemical like reaction in your brain. And whether that's dopamine, or whether that's I don't know,
different.
yeah, a different chemical. I don't know all the scientific terms, but whatever it is, if it happens over and over again, your brain becomes addicted to that thought. And so you start thinking it over and over again. Your brain literally becomes addicted to yourself. And so if we can break that pattern, and Ian Pruckner talked about that, this comes from another book. Reading is so valuable. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. If we can break that routine and start, thinking new thoughts, our brain, we can literally dictate all of our results. But it all starts up here. And so if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, if you feel like you're stuck in the mundane, it starts from here. Start thinking different thoughts, about your life, about yourself, and get addicted to those positive, happy thoughts, because that's way better.
Absolutely. I love your passion. I love how alive you are. I love so much, so much about you. Um what about what else do you think can you share with us? What else is it that maybe I can think about and I'm missing out right now that you want to share with us?
Well,
I have a question
like
though.
bridging that, kind of on the same thought process of, um, you know, the T-bar. That comes. What I love too is that comes along with money goals as well. And so oftentimes what I talk to people about is, yes, I can teach you, the absolute basics and the statistics and just the math of here's how money works. Like it is what it is. This is factual. But just because you know something doesn't mean that that's going to help you, right? Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. And so something that goes along with that is we also have to start changing our belief system about money, just like we have to start changing our belief system about ourselves. Like, stop putting yourself in a box. Um, start changing your belief system about money. Like, I have really been like telling myself whatever I release will come back to me. Like, money circulates. So stop being, so afraid of releasing it. And this isn't say to be like, haphazard, like we can still be smart with our money, but when it comes to like putting it in an investment account or using some money for my business, like don't be so stressed about that. Like, feel good about those things. Just know that you're releasing it, and it's going to come back to you because money circulates. And so it's important to, like, I also say mantras and affirmations about money too, as well as my goals. Like, I say positive affirmations about money, because it's the same thing. Like, we all have belief systems. Like, you can say positive affirmations about your health if that's what you're trying to work on. And so your mindset can really take you anywhere, not just like in with your personal goals or business goals or job goals. Like, it can help you with money, it can help you with health. It can literally help you with anything. And so I actually do, attached to my link tree, I do have some free money mantras.
Speaking of that, is this your website where people can find you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And
/Kat Phelps. A great place to kind of see more of what I do. My scheduling link is on there. There's some great videos on there as well.
okay. And then you were saying you have, hold on, I gotta find that. You have a link tree that, say that again. What do you do there?
So my link tree just has my social medias attached to it. It's got this website and one more website that I use, as well as I can email you if you sign up for my emailing list. I will email you some money mindset mantras as a freebie.
And your link tree is this?
Yeah, that's it.
Magic. Magic.
That scrolling tool is so cool.
So if we go to this website here, Linktree, Kitty Phelps 93, you can send me what to say about money so that I can have more money.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think we should all do that. I think we can get on your website and get to talk to you and get to connect and get to learn from you how to be financially successful and financially victorious.
Yes, I just love that word so much.
I think being financially victorious is important, and what you do is amazing, and it changes generations and generations to come, because it's really not just for us, it's for our children too, right?
Yeah. One thing that I actually posted on my social media today on my Facebook was a picture that I found that said, I am not what did it say? I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. And
Yes.
I really love that, because sometimes we can play the victim card, and we're all guilty of it, right? Like, I could play the victim card as a teacher. Like, I'm in so much debt because of my student loans, because I don't have enough money to pay them off. But that wasn't working for me. And so I could play the victim and be sad, or I could change my decisions and create new circumstances. And I love that with money too. Like, a lot of times people feel like, well, my family wasn't wealthy. We had enough to get by. And so that's the way that it's going to be for me. And you put yourself in these boundaries just because that's what you've experienced. But you don't have to. You can change. One decision after another can literally change generational curses, from generational curses to generational wealth. Just by making some decisions today to put $50 a month away in a Roth IRA, you could literally change your family's future. And so I love being able to teach that concept, because it doesn't have to be hopeless, but you do have to take accountability for where you're at and be willing to change those decisions.
Have you met people that gave up, started something and gave up, and maybe had a hard time being consistent?
Yes. Consistency is hard with anything. Like, I struggle with that myself. And I think that's really where mindset, with no matter what you're trying to work on, comes in play. You have to be mentally tough, and you have to train yourself to be mentally tough. And part of that's comes with saying positive things about yourself, writing down your goals, having them clear every day. So that way, you can help yourself be consistent. Cause that's one of the hardest things. I think when people give up, really what it comes down to, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but that is your mindset. That is you making the decision that you weren't worth it anymore. And so mindset is everything.
We can't allow anybody to give up because we are not created to give up. We are created to move forward and evolve and advance and live life. We can't give up. It's not an option.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that NASA's logo. Failure is not an option. I have a mug. It's on there.
Yes, we have to keep going.
Mhm.
I'm so fortunate that you're in my life and I get to learn from you and I get to spend time with you and I get to be in your presence and absorb your energy and learn from you, so much more than that I everything that I want to learn. And I'm so fortunate. I'm honestly so grateful that you took the time to come be with us. I want to acknowledge our friends. Hi, Varia. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for being with us. And also, our love this says Amy Stevenson.
Amy.
Love you. And we want you to come join our conversation too. We need to have Amy on the show. Amy's pretty, I'm going to say, she's like badass.
And Iberia as well, man. She talked about a world traveler.
Yes. Yes, Iberia is on the guest list too. We'll talk about traveling.
That's going to be an amazing show.
She's so amazing. Yes. But my dear, you just gave me some really amazing things to think about. First of all, to shed my limiting beliefs, say my affirmations, and stop keeping myself in the box.
Yeah, don't box yourself in. Don't put boundaries on yourself. Especially like I think so often we compare ourselves to others, right? And their situation doesn't have to be ours, right? You think about like, oh, well, this person started a business and it was so hard for them, or this person had to go back to teaching, or whatever it is. This person tried to get out of debt and they couldn't. My mom, she tried to get out of debt and she never could. Their situation doesn't have to be yours. Like don't project that onto you. Like don't put yourself in a box. Don't the world is literally anything that you make it to be.
Open and waiting.
Yeah.
Open and waiting for us and everybody, and we just have to make the decision, right?
Yes,
and go for it. Just do it no matter what, like we said.
Yeah, you are one decision away from a completely different lifestyle.
And you're the proof.
I am. I was so scared to quit my teaching job. Like once it was done, like I said, I felt really at peace with it. But to turn in that paper to my principal, like every year we got what we call an intent to return form, where we would say like, yes, I'm going to be back for the next school year, or no, I'm not. So they could start looking for new teachers to fill those positions. And so to turn that into my principal and tell her like, hey, I'm not coming back next year after I'd been there for 5 years. That was so scary to actually like physically turn it over. But I knew like this is a decision I had to make. Like I can either keep repeating the same thing over and over, and doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So I knew like if I kept teaching, I was going to have the same feelings and be in the same spot financially. So I had to make a different decision, and that started with quitting. And here I am.
Victorious, traveling the world, and in a much, much better position because you get to help others.
Yes.
And because you learn so much and you allowed yourself to be victorious.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Katherine, I love you. I appreciate you being on my show. I want to hug you. I can't wait to hug you.
I am so glad that we finally did this, and I am so grateful for you inviting me.
Yes. I hope that everybody that watched us will reach out to you, because I know that in one way or another you're able to help them. And I know that if they're a business owner, that's one thing we didn't talk about. So let's talk about the new law coming into Colorado.
Yeah, this is huge. Colorado is starting, I believe it begins April 1st. Don't quote me on that. But a new law where if you are a small business owner, if you have 5 or more employees who work under you, you have to provide a retirement package. And essentially what they're saying is that, Social Security is unreliable. It's probably not going to be around long. And so you need to be saving for yourself. So, now business owners are liable for that. They have to provide those packages to their employees. And that can be really costly. And oftentimes, if you think about like the big retirement companies, I think of like T. Rowe Price or Principal, they're not reaching out to small business owners. Like they have, huge corporations that they help. And that's where I come in. We can provide small benefits packages at no cost to the employer. And we have tons of retirement options, simple IRAs.
What do you mean no cost?
No cost to the employer. That's it. We set up private accounts for each of their employees, but it does count through the program.
Wow.
So yeah, so that way, because the employer isn't paying to have a retirement package, if they have money that they want to help match, they can use that instead of paying for a retirement program, because we just help each person individually, but it still meets the needs for that law. And so, yeah, and we'll get each employee set up with our total financial package. So a financial needs analysis, which is a document that we put together for all of our clients for free, which I absolutely love. And we just talk about, hey, here's where you are right now in your finances, and here's step-by-step how to get to the goals and dreams that you want. So we'll do that for all of your employees. We'll get them set up with a great retirement plan, and it won't cost you anything. So small business owners, definitely reach out to me if you have 5 or more employees.
Because you can help and you can help so much their business. Kat, yeah. Amazing. I could sit here and talk to you and just listen to you talk like all the time, but I don't want to take too much out of your time. I really appreciate it. I know you're so busy because you have so many people that you help, and you're also training your team, and there's more people that need you, so they're like pulling on you and you're pulling them up, and it's such a fun time and such a great time to be in, and I definitely appreciate your time.
Thank you. I really appreciate you letting me be a guest. I am so excited about this episode. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Stay with me. Don't leave. But I want to talk to you, my dear friends, my beautiful and amazing friends. Please share this, because Kat makes a big difference in people's lives. And we want to make sure that everybody that needs a helping hand has access to reaching out to Kat on social media, on Linktree, I'm pretty sure she's easy to find. And if you go on Facebook, she's very active. Kat is on TikTok as well. She's actually a celebrity on TikTok, in my opinion, because she does some pretty cool
Not
things.
Even close.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And so, yes, go reach out to Kat. Let her help you, and share this so that your friends and family and people that need what Kat does can reach out to her. And we'll see you on the next episode. Kat, thank you so much.
Thank
You're the best.
you.
I love you. We'll see you soon.